This regular meeting of the Navasota City Council is called to order on this the 13th of February in council chambers. Let the record show all council members are present with the exception of Councilman Holt. Welcome and thank you for being here this evening. We ask that you put your cell phones in the silent mode. And visitors, if you would please sign in. If you wish to speak under visitors' remarks, please fill out the form found in back. State your name and address at the podium, as we must document all meeting business and remarks limited to 3 minutes. Tonight's invocation will be led by Pastor Mac Vaughn and followed by the pledges.
When's the last time somebody told somebody in the city, thank you for the job that they do? Anyone? Well, I guarantee you, I go out of my way, and I'm not saying look at me, but man, we got some fabulous employees. We really do in staff. They're best of the best. Except, if we could do, I know you have. I've heard you say it. Yeah. I was going to say, now if we could work on the city council a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. That's right. Oh, gracious God, we are truly thankful. Thankful for the many blessings you continue to pour out upon our great city, our county, and our world. Oh God, we're troubled right now, and we just seek your face and your guidance and your spirit to lead us in the right ways, to make the right decisions. Oh God, let us never get down and know that you're in control of everything that's going on. God, I thank you for our staff and our city council. I just thank you for the many skill sets that have been assembled here to lead our city. God bless each and every one of those, especially our law enforcement and first responders. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Item 3, remarks of visitors. We have Doris Sauls.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I am here in regard to some requests that were made last year about this time. So I'm coming again to ask your consideration. And these 3 items here total $3 million. And the first one is the Grace Park project, $1 million. The second one is funding for the dilapidated houses on the west side of Navasota, $1 million. And the sidewalks from the Baylor Lumber Company down to the VFW Hall on both sides of the streets at $1 million. And I appreciate it if you would revisit those items and see what can be done. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, to give you an update, the TxDOT has approved sidewalks on both sides of the roadway from Baylor Lumber to 3rd Street. So right before the big storm, I know that the survey crew was actually out surveying for that. That's about a 2-year process because there's permits that have to be done for BNSF Railroad. So that's why it's taking so long. But we have been approved for sidewalks on both sides of the roadway there. that is no cost to the city.
Awesome.
Okay, item 4, staff report, Mr. Weeks.
Mayor and members of council, Connie Clements with the, has got a presentation from the Grimes County Crime Stoppers. At this time, Connie, if you and the group want to come up and do your presentation.
Oops. Forgive me, I'm getting over a cold, so I can hardly talk.
Ooh, I know.
I'm going to get you
You
for
don't have much
that.
height for that.
Short staff. Okay, my name is Connie Clements. I'm the president of Grimes County Crime Stoppers. And on behalf of our organization, I am presenting this plaque to Chief Mike Mize and the Navasota Police Department. This traveling plaque recognizes the Officer of the Year back to 2015 when the plaque was, it was created, the tradition was created. Your department is receiving it in recognition of investigator Travis Mullins being selected as the Officer of the Year for 2022. We hope that you'll display it proudly and enjoy your bragging rights through the end of this year.
Thank you. Mayor and council also want to acknowledge Marla Gurko for receiving the Materra's Service Award, also of the year.
I want to say one more thing.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry, I might have got ahead of you. So,
No, it's very interesting that if you look at this, you'll see that it's really spread out all over the agencies in the county. It's not like every year the same department gets it. It's really very interesting when you start looking. So we're really blessed and fortunate to have so many good law enforcement personnel working for us here in Grimes County.
Amen.
It's not just me.
Mike needs to make a speech.
thank you. Mayor, next, Peggy Johnson, our HR director, is going to come up and do an introduction of two of our new employees, one in the police department and one in finance.
Good evening. Peggy Johnson, Human Resource Director, Matt Miller, and the council members. I would like to introduce the city of Navasota, two newest employees here with us. As our city manager said, one in our financial service department and the other in our police department. At this time, I would like to introduce to you Rusha Nigmet is the newest financial analyst in the financial service department. She worked in oil and gas for Chevron Company in accounting, finance, and business support groups for 20-plus years. So we'd like to welcome her to the Mr. Keith Biggs. He's the new police officer in the Navasota Police Department. Mr. Biggs began his career as a dispatcher and a reserve police officer with the city of Marlin in 1993. In 1994, he became a full-time police officer there, where he held positions as corporal and a K-9 handler. In 1994, he went to work for Tomball Police Department, and there he held many positions, there and retired from the Tomball Police Department. He brings 27 years of law enforcement to the city of Navasota. Would you help me to welcome him to the city of Navasota?
Thank you. Next, Mayor and Council, Peggy's going to present our Years of Service Award.
Once again, Mayor Miller and council members, I would like to present the Years of Service Award to Rodrigo Hernandez. We'd like to come forward. We would like to present you this certificate. Yes, sir. Certificate for 10 years of your hard, dedicated work to the city of Navasota. Hired on January the 3rd, 2013, so he's celebrating his 10 years, and we just appreciate you for all the hard work you have
All right,
done.
photo opportunity.
Council?
Council.
Absolutely.
We're short. We're a man short, literally. They must have an issue. Thank you.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rodney.
No. Aw. You look just like him.
You'll always see Rodrigo's smiling face at our recycling center on Saturday mornings, so he loves helping out with recycling.
Okay, any reports from council on boards and commissions?
Yes. On the 25th of January, I sat in on the Keep Navasota Beautiful, and they were able to go ahead and elect a chairperson, which was Vanica Sanders, and they finalized all of the details for the trash off, which will be held April 15th, and that's, if you're not familiar with the trash off, it's a really big event. We encourage you to volunteer and bring out teams, and we all meet at the Navasota Center on that morning, and all go out and pick up trash all around the city. And they're also seeking sponsorships on that. The deadline for sponsorships is March 17th. And if you have any questions, you can contact Eric. And his last name is Covarrubias. Oh, said it right. Yay! And so that's April 15th. So set your calendars. I know we'll all be upset about taxes, but we can go ahead and make it a fun day picking up trash. There'll be lunch provided. They have
T-shirts.
awards given for different things found and age groups and all of that. It's actually a really fun event. So join us April 15th at the Navasota Center. Be there early, 8 a.m.
You gotta do good to beat Jose if he brings his whole family.
Right?
He's been known to
Been everything.
win the trophy on that one.
Mr. Mayor, last Tuesday, you had a meeting of the Airport Advisory Committee, and the big news out of that is that Mike Deering had just received his qualifications as an instrument instructor. So this opens the way for a full-scale flight school out there.
Very good. All right, just some announcements here. Tonight, actually right now, the Lady Rattlers are playing Sweeney for by district, so we need to root them on while we're here tonight. They're playing Sweeney tonight, so go Lady Rattlers. The Community Challenge, It's Time Texas Community Challenge is ending on the 5th of March, and it's a competition between cities all over the state for healthy living habits, and you can register at ittcommunitychallenge.com. You can still do that, download the app on your phone, and it can be anything from drinking 8 ounces of water to running a marathon. So get on there and get some points for Navasota. Navasota Citizens University registration is, I believe the deadline is the 10th. And so you can go to navasota.tx.gov to register there or call the city secretary's office at 825-6475. We've got a couple of chamber ribbon cuttings coming up this week, actually. The 16th at Joe's Italian at 11:30, and Navasota Welding on Saturday at 11:30.
Friday, right? Friday.
Friday? Oh,
Friday,
The 17th?
17th.
okay. Why did I show Saturday? Okay. All right, so Thursday and Friday, correct? Okay. And then they're having a mixer on the 16th at Fresh Enterprises and Master Built Kids on 304 Fraser Street. That's behind Dollar Tree. So join the chamber there for a mixer. The artists in residence are having an open house at the Horlock House on the 17th. That is this week. That is Thursday.
Friday.
Friday. Back to Friday again. Sorry. 4:30 to 6 at the Horlock House, and Sarah Nebius and Sienna Smith will be showing off all of the work that they have been doing for the past few months here in Navasota. So come check that out. And they will have some snacks there too. The 21st is the pancake supper at St. Paul's Episcopal. I will not be missing that. I've already got my ticket. And then just coming up, we do have the spring cleanup, which is coming up on the 11th of March. It's where you get an opportunity to take a bunch of unwanted items from your property over to the Malcolm Street dumpsters. And then also, I think that same day is Farmers Market, so that'll be a busy day. And then you see trash off coming up on the 9th of April. And then just down the road a little bit, huh?
15th.
April 15th.
The trash off is on the 15th.
15th, okay. All right, and then the chamber banquet is coming up on the 9th of March. That's at the fairgrounds.
Mayor, don't forget Texas Birthday Bash, March 3rd and 4th. Been told today that VIP tickets for Saturday have been sold out. So get your
Still got
tickets.
some for Friday.
Still got some for Friday, but Saturday's already sold out, so.
All right.
They'll be here before we know it.
Okay, item 5, we're going to conduct a public hearing for the purpose of receiving public comment and testimony regarding an annexation request submitted by James C. Hassel for a 1.31 acre tract of land in the James Whiteside Survey, A62, Navasota, Grimes County, Texas, 77868. And the time is 6:18.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, good evening. Lupe Diosdado, Development Services Director. Just wanted to briefly summarize this item. I know that there's quite a few members here from the public that want to speak on it. So this is the first step in a development process. Typically, the first step is annexation. So the current 1.3 acres is right there on the top left of the tallest cul-de-sac there, or the highest cul-de-sac. It's a little sliver of land, like I said, a little over an acre. The first step is annexation. So currently that piece of property is outside the city limits. The first step is bringing it into the city. Once it's annexed, a zoning gets established, and that zone lays out the rules and regulations on what can be built there and how can it be built there. Currently, since the property is outside the city limits, there has been a little bit of construction going on out there. Staff did reach out initially to Mr. Hassel regarding the piece that's inside the city or the utilities that lead up to the site. That construction was put on pause. There has still been some movement inside the property, but again, that's because that's still outside the city limits. So technically, we don't have building permit regulations until it's annexed in. And then there has been some feedback regarding the proposed project. So once it goes through that whole process, annexation, zone, and then platting, we were shared, or Mr. Hassel did share with us the proposed plat. And Mike, can you bring that on the screen? And it basically shows an extension of that cul-de-sac. That's not necessarily the item that's being considered tonight. Tonight is just the annexation piece, but since this has been shared with the public, we just wanted to let everyone know that that's the first submittal of it, right? Depending on what that zone for that 1.3 ends up, that's going to dictate what size the lots are, and various other development requirements. And so, like I said, the first step tonight is or what the hearing is for, is to see if council wants to move forward on annexation. And then once that happens, there's multiple steps left to see if it'll be feasible for development. But like I said, that's the first iteration of it. There's already quite a few suggestions that our engineer already looked at, especially the double cul-de-sac. It's kind of an odd design. Kind of looks like a set of glasses from space, but hopefully that's not going to be the case if it does go through the entire process. And like I said, Mr. Hassel is here tonight. If y'all have any questions about the annexation or even maybe about this, moving forward down the road. And I know that there are a number of residents that would like to speak to this item too.
Okay, so the only action that we have on our agenda tonight is for the annexation, which does not address the development.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I wasn't listening, so if you said something to me. Oh,
No,
okay,
No one said anything to you.
okay. Have you any questions?
No, the annexation is pretty cut and dry.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So you have, before you tonight is the annexation.
Right.
There are members that have signed up that want to speak to council, because it was told to them, they can come and voice their concerns as we move through these processes. As I put in your memo, it is staff's recommendation to annex this in, and then address any of residents' concerns once they become inside the city limits. That would occur during the zoning piece as well as any platting.
Why the cul-de-sac was not extended before, because I was gonna sell it commercial. And I had 2 offers on it, and one was from an apartment builder. And I decided, since we had the way we did this, that it would not be appropriate for me to sell it commercial with the residents there. Now, I mean, if the city don't annex it, then that's the way I'll go. But I'd prefer to put those 6 lots in and let it be just a part of the residents there.
So I do have a question, and I don't, Lupe, this may be for you. If a subdivision is built within the city limits and is going to extend out into our ETJ, is the developer not responsible to follow our requirements?
So a subdivision is required to meet our requirements, whether it's in the city or not, because the city, we have subdivision authority even in the ETJ. However, if a property is in the ETJ, there's no zoning in the ETJ, and so that means that there's a lot more flexibility on lot sizes and configuration, mainly on lot sizes. That's the biggest piece, because the street standards are the same. You're going to require the same width street that you would in the city that you would in the ETJ, but the difference is the density. So if a piece of property is not in the city limits, then there's no zoning, so we can't require X square footage lots versus acreage lots. And then the last piece, and probably the most important piece, is if it's in the ETJ, and if it's not in the city, then obviously we can't serve it with utilities, and all the other requirements don't come into effect either, like building permits, inspections, code enforcement, all that good stuff. So, it's possible, but generally a developer is going to want to be in the city to get all those services with utilities.
And this is the hearing portion, so I do have some folks that had signed up for this item, but again, it's regarding the annexation, so you can wait and sign up for when it comes up for the actual development, but you are welcome to speak tonight if you want to address the annexation. Aaron Wilhite.
Mr. Mayor, Council, such an honor to be here tonight. I live in Pecan Lakes, and I just wanted to address the obvious event that we're here for tonight. Annexation is smart. We want taxing on that so that we can build resources there. Mr. Hassel had originally had signs out there stating that this was commercial property. So those of you who are upset that this is going to be developed as houses, your other option was commercial property, which is the signage represented for several years prior to this choice. The other thing that is not exactly annexation, may I address it, is the park, sir? Okay, there's a discussion about a park. Mr. Hassel has donated 11 acres at the southwest corner of the subdivision for a park because rules have changed since he started developing this. And he's, the acreage is there, and so the neighbors who are here tonight are concerned about parks in the neighborhood. I just want to state that if the city develops a park, then there'll be a lot of people coming from all over, public access through our neighborhood to the park for sports events. If the city does not develop the park, then it's up to the HOA to develop it, and if the HOA develops it, then that will raise our HOA rates. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Bert Bearden.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Bert Bearden. I live in Pecan Lakes on Putter Place, so my house is the third one down from the corner on the left side if you look kind of crooked. So I wanted to just address this briefly. I am in favor of annexation. However, I would love to see that annexation be conditional upon a much greater improvement to the design you see on that screen tonight. If you look at what's there, first of all, the double cul-de-sac is odd looking. I've shown it to a number of people, even some developers, and they've all commented on the strange design. Those lots, now can be corrected, but they appear to be much smaller than the lots that are on the rest of the street. So I'm concerned about that. Secondly, with smaller lots, will the homes that are built on those mirror the same style and size and match what's on the rest of the street and frankly what's in most of the rest of the subdivision? When I came here, I moved here from Brenham. I'd been a citizen of Brenham for 23 years. I have loved every second of living in Navasota. My experiences with the city staff have not been many, but they've all been good. This has been an awesome place to be. Been excited about being a homeowner in Pecan Lakes. I've loved my home. What I'm not excited about is what you see on the screen tonight. And so, I just humbly request that as a council that you guys consider maybe some conditional terms be put on this annexation to where a better plan that's not quite so dense in construction be considered. The threat of an apartment complex I find kind of appalling. To hear Mr. Hassel say that, I'm very disappointed. But I would love to see the council consider putting some restrictions on what this is going to look like. So, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Matt Price.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I wish I had gone before Bert. First off, thank y'all for your time. My name's Matthew Price. I currently live on 7906, which is the second house to the end of the cul-de-sac on the top of that, with my wife and 3 children, 7 and under. When we began looking for houses, it was I work in between Bryan and Hearn, and my wife is a teacher for the last 5 years for Navasota ISD, and we lived in College Station prior to that, and she would commute back and forth. Well, I didn't like that, so when we began looking, we looked in Bryan, College Station, Franklin, and fell in love to the very nice neighborhood that Mr. Hassel has developed. We fell in love. We had our selection of lots, different builders, and ultimately chose our lot based on the size and what we could put on that. and have had zero issues. Love the neighborhood, love the people, love what Mr. Hassel has developed in our neighborhood. Up until recently, with this potential design, with this potential annexation, and much like Bert said, I understand a developer has the right to do with what they want to an extent with their property. It's just I don't think it should be at the loss of current citizens, residents, and homeowners. Again, it's a little bit sleight of hand how this all went and how up until now the apartment wasn't even brought up. I would have liked, as Mr. Hassel being a neighbor of ours, as well as a resident and the developer, an open forum about discussion. I think it would have prevented a lot of this. The double cul-de-sac, again, as Bert mentioned, hadn't seen that. We lose value on our property with, I'm not saying I don't, he can do what he wants, but it seems like we're trying to put a lot in there with not as much development space. I'll reference the north ends of Birdie Court and Eagle View Drive. Neither of these have cul-de-sacs, but dead-end streets. I would not have purchased my home if the street design had been like that, as I would have known it potentially would have been a through street of some sort. Again, I purchased this house in the best interest of my family. The other thing that isn't noted on this is there is a business at the end of this thing with a very bright blue light, so I'm interested on what that does with the city ordinance as far as lighting. You can see it when you pull in the very beginning of the neighborhood. So what that does in reference to lighting ordinance, and I know it's well over the 7 feet. Again, highlighted our frustrations of our street with seemingly rushed to develop before approval. The reduce of what the residents, current homeowners have, the design of the potential double cul-de-sac, and I thank you for your time and opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Michael Medeiros? Medeiros, I'm sorry. I apologize.
We've been doing that to my name since I was like... My name's Michael Medeiros. I'm here with my wife Carol Ann Medeiros, and we live on Putter Place Court at 7903. Purchased on the cul-de-sac for the benefits of being on the cul-de-sac. No through traffic, quiet, safe for families that do have kids. We've got 4 small grandchildren that live in College Station, come and visit us a lot. So that element was very important to us. I want to thank the council members, all you folks, for the hard work that you guys are doing in this city. We came from a historical-based city. We love history, both my wife and myself. Appreciate what Jim is doing. He's doing an awesome job, I think, up to this point, because this, again, just like Bert and Matt shared, kind of blindsided us. So one of the things that definitely concerned about is that you would open up the end of our cul-de-sac. It's kind of hokey looking. For one thing, I've never seen it done anywhere, and I've come out of the landscape industry over 35 years, travel a lot of roads and streets, never seen a cul-de-sac extended like this. One, that you got 4 houses that have got smaller lots because originally it's a cul-de-sac. Okay, they love that, but they did it for the reason of being quiet, not having through traffic and all that stuff. Again, we want to encourage growth, and that's what Jim has brought with his development, which is, I think at the end of it is going to be about 520 homes, plus the other development just north of this one, another 145. Love his golf course. If I can get my body to cooperate, I want to go over there and bang some balls on that golf course. It's beautiful. His commitment to helping this community grow, I think, is awesome, and we acknowledge that. But we also acknowledge that you folks are here working with us as partners, working for us, and we just want what's right, just like Bert and Matt said, the value of our properties, we don't want to see them go south. And again, paramount to me and my wife is the safety that the cul-de-sac brings, both for Matt's children. There's a couple other youngsters at the end of the street. There's a young couple, I believe, at the very end of the cul-de-sac. Someday they probably have some children, plus our grandchildren that we come. So that was a major consideration for us to, again, buy on the cul-de-sac. And if I could, just a couple of quick other little notes. I'm curious to the safety. I know 420, Country Road 424 to me would be a better way to approach, come in to this little development that Jim wants to do. But also leaving this development, because it's going to be huge, like 660 some homes when it's all said and done. The exits out onto 105, is there going to be any kind of a traffic light out there at some point? Because you've got folks coming, not just folks in cars, but big trucks coming from the west. They're doing 65, 70 miles an hour, and folks trying to, transition out onto this road. I just see a problem of safety for folks coming out of there and folks turning left into into the developments. I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Just again, thank you folks for all your hard work. Love what's going on in the city.
John Genhart? Gerhart? I'm sorry. Even with my glasses, I can't.
Mayor, Council, once again, I have all the same concerns you previously heard, and I don't want to go through all the same things and stuff, but I too have the concern that these proposed lots, so obviously by this meeting we're really ahead of the schedule where we need to be asking these questions, but by this proposal, his lots don't look like they're by the width. I believe we're supposed to have at least 50 feet wide on the one side, and they're not the square footage that's supposed to be. I'm all for us getting, yes, more housing in instead of other industrial. People need places to live, but I also want our values protected, just like the previous people said. If he was going to extend the cul-de-sac, I think it would only be right for him to fill in the first cul-de-sac and give the people their yards back, or on the road behind there, since he doesn't have lots the correct size, make a drive in from that away and make a U street. I actually drew up some stuff that can be give y'all and maybe sent to him, that where he wouldn't even connect on our street, and he wouldn't have to try to fix this look of this, as everyone says, silly eyeglasses look, and keep our values up. Because he obviously can't make that many lots up there if they're not even meeting the standards. And also we want to make sure, because some of the new houses in the neighborhood does not have 95% brick, like we were suggested to. We bought into a nicer neighborhood and not starter homes for people that, and they're supposed to be estates. So we want to make sure our values stay there and we don't start leaning more to starter home neighborhoods. And But like I said, we all know everyone needs a place to live, and more people are coming all the time. And we don't have problems with that. We just want our values to be considered and something done that will continue to grow the values for us and for y'all. And that's pretty much it, since everyone else has done, covered everything else. Thank you much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So the hearing is still open. If anyone else would like to speak, you're more than welcome. Okay, well, we'll close the hearing at 6:40. Oh, yes, sir, sure. You need to come, do you mind coming up to the mic, Mr. Hassel? Thank you.
I can make more loss by coming off that other road, but I thought this would be the best for the community the way I did it. And if the city has problems with it and wants me not to do that, I'll design another way, but I am gonna develop it, and I'll develop it myself into lots, or I'll sell it for commercial. I had it sold, and then I took it back because I thought it was unfair for the people that was there if I sell that property commercial. And that's why that road wasn't extended the first time. And I don't think that anybody that lives along that road would want something commercial in that deal. And they're gonna get interest at the end of that cul-de-sac for their driveway. I don't see how they could not. Public road. If y'all got any questions? Thank you.
Okay, close the hearing at 6:42. Item number 6 is consideration and possible action on the first reading of ordinance 1017-23, approving an annexation request submitted by James C. Hassel for a 1.310 acre tract of land in James Whiteside Survey, A62, Navasota, Grimes County, Texas.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move to approve the first reading of ordinance 1017-23, approving annexation request by James Hassel.
Second. Motion by Mr. Fultz, second by Mr. Gessner to approve the first reading of ordinance 1017-23, approving the annexation request. Any further, excuse me, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Item 7, consideration and possible action on interlocal cooperation agreement between the City of Navasota, Grimes County, and J&H Navasota Development, LLC, for the improvement of County Road 424.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, just to briefly summarize, city staff, legal counsel, Mr. Harry Walker with Grimes County, as well as legal staff for the county have been working on this agreement. This was initiated by Mr. Hassel. As you all are aware, Phase 4 of Pecan Lakes is, as far as infrastructure goes, it's about 95% there. Homes should be going up soon, and all that increased traffic on County Road 424 is going to put additional strain on that already struggling roadway, I'll say. It's a little bit too narrow. The condition is not the best, and so Mr. Hassel approached the county and asked them to basically allow for the widening of that roadway and then making it a concrete road to match the streets of Pecan Lake. And so in doing so, because the road is in the city's ETJ, the city has authority to regulate the design and construction. However, since Mr. Hassel is working closely with the county, we've been working with them on this agreement. Staff's recommendation is to allow the county and Mr. Hassel to coordinate the design and construction. And we've put a few parameters in there as far as minimum width goes. Overall, it's going to be a major improvement to the road. I know that road already has drainage issues because the road is kind of higher than the lots. And so by the proposed design that Mr. Walker and Mr. Hassel have been working on, it's actually going to put the street lower than the property. So that'll be a benefit not only for drainage but for traffic too. And so Mr. Walker is here tonight if y'all have any questions on the county's piece. And then, like I said, Carrie has been working hard with this on their legal counsel to get all of it buttoned up. So if y'all have any questions.
I am concerned that it looks like with this orange square that it's just the portion of 424 before it connects to 423. And so is there a way to get, if Mr. Hassel redoes this roadway, what happens, because doesn't 423 actually, isn't that the connector to 424?
Correct. Yes.
So there won't be anything done to 423 and whatever the distance is between 423?
So not by Mr. Hassel, or by the city at this point.
So we would be relying on the county to maintain that or fix it so that it matches the rest of the road? How does that work?
And again, I'm Harry Walker with Grimes County Road and Bridge Engineer. We have committed separately from the agreement, but we've committed to make improvements to that last portion of 424. We didn't feel like we could ask Mr. Hassel to put concrete road all the way out there, but we will go ahead and do improvements in asphalt, hopefully during this summer's paving season.
Very good, very good.
And then, Lupe, I have another question, and that was, you said that they were going to lower the road. I don't really know what that means, but you don't mean lower it so that when it rains, that it will become flooded and people can't use that as an exit, right?
I guess it's half truth. So the roadway gets vehicles, gets vehicles to where they need to go, but also water. So typically, like if you drive through, Stone Ridge or Pecan Lakes, your road is going to be lower elevation than your yards, and that's the goal and intent for this project too. So it'll just help get water out of there more efficiently. But that's just the general road design.
So who's responsible for shedding the water, if you will, from the county road to wherever it needs to go? Mr. Hassel, that's part of the project.
Yes.
The design of the project will take advantage of some of the drainage that Mr. Hassel's put in conjunction with Section 4 of Pecan Lakes. That'll be our primary outfall.
Okay, and it's not a problem that's had flooding now, that section?
No, as Lupe explained, for the curb and gutter section, you depress the road below the surrounding property so that the right-of-way will drain into the road and drain along the curb to inlets and to an outfall location. As I said, the current road is higher than the surrounding ground, and there's really no outfall to speak of right now, so it just doesn't drain very well.
Okay.
And hopefully the timing of all of this for 424, as you know, Pecan Lakes Drive is already complete as well. And working with TxDOT for the turn lanes. So once TxDOT comes in, they'll tie into Pecan Lakes that's finished already, tie that in with the turn lanes. To answer any questions for signals and stuff like that, that will be something that they'll have to look at when they do road counts and actually do traffic impact analysis from TxDOT. Again, they still have not, I don't think, have started that project, but again, they're doing it all the way from Pecan, well, actually from the river, I think from the river all the way to Anderson now. So it's a huge project that they're going to have to undertake, and hopefully we'll know more because we've gotten more traffic out here.
I'd like to tell y'all that to get that turn lane, we paid $150,000 to the state. And they started out at $500,000, and I got Ms. Colcourse involved, and it got down to $150,000. And that's been paid to the state. And it's got to come to that road that I put from out to 105.
Correct.
if y'all been familiar with it. I have that road put, I just like the asphalt on the end of it. So,
Yeah.
but I want to emphasize, it was $150,000 to get that turn lane in. But I think this community needed it for the golf course, your VFW hall. A lot of traffic goes in there at times, to the golf course also, and to that park. So that's why I went to all this trouble to get that turn lane in. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the interlocal cooperation agreement between the City of Navasota and J&H Navasota Development for the improvements to County Road 424.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fultz, second by Mr. Gessner to approve the interlocal cooperation agreement between the City of Navasota, Grimes County, and J&H Navasota Development LLC, County Road 424. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Item 8, consideration and possible action on approving Resolution 729-23 in support for the application of Navasota Manor Apartments to the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs for the 2023 competitive 9% housing tax credits to rehabilitate affordable rental housing in connection with Navasota Manor.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, just to briefly summarize, as you mentioned, Navasota Manor submitted an application or a request for a resolution of support. They're going to be doing some rehab work on existing 40 units. They're proposing about $45,000 in improvements to each unit. Since the City of Navasota is over the per capita amount for credit housing, they'll need this resolution. And I believe Sasha with PK Housing is here. Tasha, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Good evening. I'm here just to answer any questions you may have about the redevelopment of the property.
Bring it.
We've been managing it, we're the developer and the managing partner right now, and what we're looking to do is purchase the property and fix all of the things we've found while we've managed it. It's an elderly community, the cabinets are falling apart, they need appliances, we need to replace the furnaces, the ACs, just give it some love and make it like new again. So we're not gonna add any existing units, we're just looking to get approval on the tax credits so that we can redo everything and give them some love back to all of our seniors at the property.
I believe y'all also did another development here as well.
Yeah, Northwood.
Magnolia Plaza? No?
The only other one we have is Northwood. They might have done
Northwood,
another
okay,
one, but
okay.
Now, this is a competition, right?
this is
It's
just the
not
first step.
guaranteed, so, and this is one of the checkoffs and
No guarantee.
Yeah, this is the first step, and then we have to continue through the rest of the application process to see if we'll be
Right.
awarded those tax credits.
How long have you had this property?
We have been managing it since 2020. We're just the managing partner, but we are looking to purchase it with this approval of the tax credits, so we would become the
Okay.
owners, just like we're the owners of Northwood.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve resolution number 729-23 in support of the application of Navasota Manor Apartments to Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs for the 2023 competitive 9% housing tax credits.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fultz, second by Mr. Gessner to approve Resolution 729-23. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Item 9, consideration and possible action on approval of the order of election for the May 6, 2023 election to elect 2 city council members to positions 4 and 5.
Mayor and City Council, the order before you is to call the election for May the 6th. and the period to call the election is between January 23rd and February the 17th. And so we are meeting our deadline by approving this order if we approve it tonight. And it is to elect two positions for positions 4 and 5 currently held by Grant Holt and Burt Miller. And we will be having an election this year.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve order of election for the May 6, 2023 election.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fultz, second by Mr. Gessner to approve the order of election for May 6th. Two council members, positions 4 and 5. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Item 10, presentation, discussion, and possible action on Resolution 730-23, approving a joint election contract between the City of Navasota, Grimes County, and the Navasota Independent School District.
Mayor and City Council, the agreement before you, or the resolution before you, is one that we've had for several years. I did make one correction in the bottom of the resolution. It had Lucy Yabaro's name, because she submitted this before she resigned from the county, but I have replaced that with Rachel Walker, and that is in your folder to sign tonight. So it's the same contract that we've had, and it is an estimate in there also as to what the election may cost, which they estimated about $5,900, and we have budgeted $7,500. So it's the same contract that we've had for the past several years.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve Resolution 730-23.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Fultz, second by Mr. Gessner to approve Resolution 730-23 for the joint election contract. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. Item 11 is the consent agenda. Minutes from January, municipal court report for January. Second reading of ordinance 1014-23, rezoning 35.13 acres, particularly described as A0055-0D Tyler Track 4 from Ag Open to Pecan Groves Estates PUD, Planned Unit Development. Approved second reading of ordinance 1015-23, amending Chapter 3, Building Regulations, Article 3.06, signs related to freeway and freestanding signs. And approved first reading of ordinance 1016-23, authorizing participation with other Entergy service area cities in matters concerning Entergy Texas at the PUC of Texas in 2023, authorizing the hiring of lawyers and rate experts, authorizing the city's participation to the full extent permitted by law at the PUC of Texas.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the minutes, approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gessner, second by Mr. Fultz to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, item carries. With that being all business, we are adjourned.